So you're thinking about starting a business in India, right? One of the first and biggest choices you've got to make is, how do you actually structure it? Well, it turns out there's one option that's just head and shoulders above all the rest. Today, we're going to dive deep into India's corporate champion, the private limited company.
All right, let's kick things off with just a number. That's it, 96.31%. Now just let that sink in for a second. Because this isn't just some random statistic, it's a story. A huge story about an overwhelming trend in Indian business.
Yep, you heard that right. As of the end of 2023, more than 96%. 96 of all active companies in India were private limited companies. We're talking over 1.9 million businesses here. So this isn't just a popular choice, it's basically the default. It's the absolute backbone of the entire formal business world in India.
And that, of course, leads us to the big question we're tackling today. Why? What is it about this specific structure that makes it so completely dominant? What's the secret sauce here? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so to really get a grip on why it's so popular, we have to start with the basics. What is a private limited company? And for that, we've got to go straight to the source, the Companies Act of 2013. And here it is, in all its legal glory. I know. It looks pretty dense, right? A lot of legalese, but trust me, buried inside this official definition are the 3 simple rules that give the private limited company, or PLC, its unique power. So let's just break that legal jargon down into plain English. It really boils down to 3 core rules. First, you can't just sell your shares to anybody. Ownership is kept tight and controlled. Second, you're capped at 200 members, which keeps it a pretty close-knit group. And third, and this is a big one, you can't ask the general public to invest. The key takeaway, a PLC is designed to be, well, private. It's right there in the name.
Okay, so if it's so private, that begs the question, right? Why on earth is it the #1 choice for ambitious startups and growing businesses? To see why, we really need to put it head-to-head with the other players on the field, especially its main rival for small businesses, the Limited Liability Partnership, or LLP.
And this table, this really tells the whole story. It perfectly highlights the PLC sweet spot. Just look at investor credibility. Because PLCs have to go through mandatory audits and have a formal structure, banks and VCs, they just take them more seriously. Plus, they have a clear way to raise money through shares, which LLPs just don't. And maybe most importantly, there's a clear, legally defined path for a PLC to grow up and become a public company. It's a structure that's literally built for ambition. And you know what? This quote from the ICAI handbook just nails it. The PLC hits that magic balance. You get the structure and the accountability that investors absolutely love, but without the crushing regulatory weight of a full-blown public company. It's the perfect middle ground, the Goldilocks option.
All right, so let's say you're convinced. You're thinking, this is for me. So how do you actually, create one? The process might sound a little scary, but honestly, it's been streamlined into a pretty clear digital-first blueprint.
When you look at it from a high level, it really just boils down to 3 main steps. Step 1, get your digital keys to the kingdom. That's your digital signature certificate. Step 2, reserve your unique company name. And step 3, file the main application forms to make it all official. Let's take a quick look at each one. So step 1 gets you started right here on the Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. Before you can do any single thing, every single director needs what's called a DSC. You can just think of it as your official, legally binding electronic signature for all the documents you're about to file. Okay, once you've got your DSCs all sorted out, you move on to the fun part, reserving your name. This is done through a web form called Spice Plus Part A. You basically propose a name, and the system checks to make sure it's not too similar to any existing companies or trademarks. Getting this part right is absolutely crucial. And finally, step 3. This is where you file the main bundle of forms. You've got Spice Plus Part B, which is the core application. Then there's the EMOA and EAOA. Think of these as your company's constitution. They define what your company can do and how it's going to be run. And this Agile Pro S form, this thing is brilliant. It bundles applications for your GST number, a bank account, and more right into the main process. It's all about making it efficient. So you did it. You submitted the forms, they're approved, and that beautiful certificate of incorporation lands in your inbox. Congratulations, you're officially a company. But, and this is a big but, getting born is just the beginning. Now the real journey starts.
See, being a proper company comes with responsibilities. You're going to need to hold board meetings, maintain all the official records, and file annual returns with the government. This structure, this is what gives the PLC all that credibility we talked about. But it's also a commitment, an ongoing commitment to compliance.
Look, there's no doubt about it. The private limited company really is the engine of Indian entrepreneurship. It offers this incredibly powerful mix of flexibility and credibility. It's pretty much the perfect launch pad for growth. So the only question left to ask is, with your company officially born, are you ready for what comes next?